Alright, so today Eros, God of Victory, arrived in the post. So he's a 4 mana, 7/4 indestructible god. As long as my devotion red and white is less 7, he's not a creature, but all my creatures gain menace, and it prevents all combat damage that would be dealt to attacking creatures I control. Nice. Anyway, the reason he's special, the reason it's nice that he came in the post, is it finishes Aurelia. So Aurelia, she's still missing 3 cards for her own deck. But Dockside, Extortionist, Skullclamp, and Nykthos I'm borrowing from Karavek. Eventually she'll get her own copies, but until then she can just borrow them. So, yeah, subtle land. Let's start with what it really is and what she does. Try to get this so they're not glared. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so 6 mana, 2 white, 2 red, 2 colorless for 3/4 flying, vigilance, hasty, legendary angel. Whenever she attacks the first time each turn, untap all attacking creatures I control, as if on my turn anybody else would be attacking, right? After this phase, there's an additional combat phase, because leading from behind had never been her style. So Aurelia is now ready to go. I've got all the cards I want. I'm still not 100% sure I've got the right mix, but she's an intact deck now. I can start testing it. I can start goldfishing and seeing what works, what doesn't. Just a moment. Here we go. So my original plan for Aurelia was I wanted creatures that have attack triggers that do something when they attack. There's really not enough interesting ones though. So I switched to a token theme and an enchantment theme. And like I said, I am not sure I have the right mix, but I'm willing to experiment with her for a couple days, goldfishing, and then Thursday I'll take her out to the pub and see how she does in a live game. Right, so let's start with let's put her where we can see her. Let's put her there. You can't see her. Can you see her there? Is she going to stand up? Not really. Bloody hell. I just have a bad angle. Let's do this. Take my daughter's radio. Let her slide off of it. Get some glare. Jesus Christ, this is just not... Aurelia, stand up. Okay. Hell with it. Okay, let's go with lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 mountains. And I chose this, actually, to go this way. Chose these Larry McDougal pieces because they look peaceful and relaxing, which is not what Aurelia is going to be. She's going to be brutal and devastating, but at least the lands will be peaceful and relaxing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm probably going to take out one of these basic lands for an Evolving Wilds. I haven't 100% made that decision yet, but I'm probably going to. Okay, so first up, she doesn't have... This is the first multicolored deck I've built in a long time without a fetch land and without a shock land. So she does not have her Arid Mesa. She does not have her Sacred Foundry yet. If the deck proves to be viable, then I'll go pursue those other cards. Anyway, Battlefield Forge. Okay. Colorless or take a red or white and 1 damage for my trouble. Clifftop Retreat. Command Tower, of course. I should put a Path of Ancestry in here, but she's not 3 colors, so it's probably not critical. This is neat. I like this art. This is the alternate edition Emeria of the Sky Ruin. So, of course, it comes in the battlefield tapped, but at the beginning of my upkeep, if I control 7 more planes, and you saw how many planes I have, I may return a creature card from my graveyard to the battlefield. Other than that, taps for white. But look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I read something that the artist made a mistake on it. I don't remember what the mistake was, but something between the sketch and the final design, I think. Anyway, just a side story. Gilthorn Outpost, when it comes into play, Sacrifice their planes or sacrifice the outpost. Tap for 1 white, or 1 and a white. Tap, put a 1/1 white soldier token into play. Rugged Prairie, this came out of Edgar Markov. I decided to take those filter lands out of him. I really don't need them, and the colorless was hurting me. So, Aurelia got his Rugged Prairie. Slayer Stronghold. I'm not going to run, what is it? Something of the Legion. The one that, Sunhome, Fortress of the Legion. I'm not running Sunhome, Fortress of the Legion because it costs 4 to activate. And I think I'm going to be wanting to do other things than spend 4 to give 1 creature double strike until the end of the turn. In fact, I'm pretty convinced there will be other things I want to do. But Slayer Stronghold, so it taps for colorless, or I can give a target creature +2/+0, vigilance, and haste until end of turn. Sunbaked Canyon. I rated this for my modern collection because Boros Burn only uses 3, so I had an extra one. Paling Life. Add a color mana. 1 tap, sacrifice it, draw a card. Terrain Generator. So white has the ability to get some extra lands into play. Not like green, not at all, but kind of. In any case, lands, as you'll see, are a sub-theme of the deck. So I want a way to put more into play than I would normally. So a Terrain Generator gives me a colorless mana, or 2 tap, put a basic land card from my hand into play tapped. Hall of Helios Generosity. Like I said, she's got an enchantment sub-theme. There are 3 gods and a grip of other enchantments, so I need ways of getting them back when they get destroyed. So this is the Vora Stronghold for enchantments. Tap gives me colorless, 1 and a 1 white tap. Take an enchantment out of my graveyard and throw it back on top of my library. Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx. Tap for colorless. Kind of the theme, eh? 2, tap, choose a color. Add your mana pool amount of mana equal to your devotion to that color. My devotion is, I've got 6 red pips, I get 6 red mana. This is Sarah's Sanctum. This is a Japanese copy I bought a few years ago from a friend of mine who was selling a bunch of his extra cards. He didn't want to be a backpack dealer anymore. So he gave me good terms and good prices on the cards. And this is kind of why I went with the enchantment sub-theme, because I do have a Sarah's Sanctum just sitting around doing nothing. So I might as well give it something to do. Right, so let's look at the actual cards. First up, I want everybody to attack. I want to attack every turn. I want everybody else to attack every turn. I want violence. I want aggression in the game. Angel's Trumpet feeds that. So 3 colorless for this artifact. All creatures gain vigilance. At the end of everybody's turn, tap all untapped creatures they control that did not attack. So it gives it vigilance, gives the creatures vigilance, so you have to remember which ones did not attack. And the ones that did not attack, that could have, that don't have summoning sickness or some other condition defender that natively prevents them from attacking all the viable attackers that didn't attack, you tap them and it deals 1 point of damage for each of them. So it should encourage attacking. KO Matcher's Map. This is a new discovery of mine. I'm sure some of you have seen it before, but it is new to me. So 2 and a white, throw it into play. When it comes to the battlefield, go find 2 basic planes, show them off, put them in your hand, and shuffle. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, if they control more lands than I do, I may put a land card from my hand onto the battlefield. So this is kind of like a not really cultivate, because cultivate puts at least one of the lands into play. This is kind of like a armillary sphere. It's kind of like an armillary sphere stapled to a burgeoning with a condition. So I have a conditional burgeoning and an armillary sphere for 2 colorless and a white. I'm really curious to see how this works. And I think I prefer the other art, but they don't have it in foil, and this one was a little bit cheaper than that one, oddly enough. So I thought, okay, I'll get the foil, and later when they foil that other art, I'll get it. Okay, here's her Arcane Signet. Here's her Boros Signet. I do not have a talisman in here for good reason. And when I get to the card that makes the good reason, I will show it to you and point it out. Skull Clamp, of course, she's borrowing this from Kervik. 1 to equip. Equip creature gets +1, -1, and when it dies, you draw 2 cards. So you gotta start clamping your dorks until you get what you want. Soul Ring. Now here we start with the creatures. So Balefire Liege. Kind of annoys me that it's from the list, but that's just a minor thing. So 5, 2, 3 red, 3 white hybrid for a Spirit Whore. My other red creatures get +1, +1. My other white creatures get +1, +1. My other red and white creatures get +2, +2. Beauty. Whenever I play a red spell, I get to Lightning Bolt a player. Whenever I play a white spell, I gain 3 life. Cavalier of Flame. This is something I got special for the deck. He wasn't that much, and I thought it would be interesting. So he's 2, 3 red for a 6/5 Elemental Knight. I can spend mana to give my creatures +1/+0 and haste until end of turn. So if I have 7, I can cast him for 5, pay the additional 2, and he would be a 7/5 hasty Elemental Knight. When he comes into play, throw away any number of cards, then draw that many cards. So a bit of looting. When he dies, he deals X damage to each opponent and each planeswalker they control, where X is the number of land cards in my graveyard. Most people are thinking, okay, what's it going to be? 2? 3? No. No, I expect to have a good number of lands in my graveyard, and I'll show you why. So I'm curious to see how he works. I needed ways to give my creatures haste. And I was really stretching for ways that fit the theme of the deck and have other effects I want to play. So he's one of them. Alright. Dockside Extortionist. The goblin most people love to hate. So it comes into play, you create X treasure tokens, where X is the number of artifacts and enchantments your opponents control. Wildly variable. If he comes down early, you're looking at maybe 4, 3 treasure tokens. He comes down mid-game, probably looking at 10, maybe more, because of everybody ramping with the mana rocks, everybody throwing out equipment. So I just like him. So Dockside Extortionist. Alright. Firemade Avenger. 2 red and white for a 3/3 flying angel with Battalion. Whenever she and at least 2 other creatures attack, and she should be attacking a lot with a lot of other creatures, so this condition should trigger quite often. She deals 3 damage, basically Lightning Helix. So if I attack with her and 2 other creatures, I get to Lightning Helix something. Goblin Rabblemaster. Now we're getting into the token theme. So most of these cost 3. I won't point out the mana cost. I think you can see it just fine. So the Rabblemaster. Anybody that played Standard a few years ago, they know this card right well. Other goblins I control attack every turn of Fable. At the beginning of the combat of my turn, I get a 1/1 red goblin creature token with haste. And whenever he attacks, he gets +1/+0 for each other attacking goblin. So he's kind of like the... And now I'm going to try to remember the damn card again. What is that guy? There's a goblin that came out about Onslaught Legions. Protection from blue. Whenever he attacks, he gets +1/+0 for each other attacking goblin, something like that. I can't remember what the hell it is. There's so many damn cards to remember, you know. Inferno Titan. So he's got fire breathing. And when he comes from the battlefield or attacks, he deals 3 damage divided as a choose among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures and or players. Burn, baby, burn. Knight Captain of Eos, another token generator. This one with fog. So I want, like I said, I want all creatures attacking, right? Well, I don't want them attacking me necessarily. And if they're attacking me and I can't deal with it, I want a way to deal with it. So for 5, I get a 2/2 human knight that comes into play with 2 1/1 white soldier creature attendants. And I can spend a white and sacrifice one of his attendants, or another soldier, to prevent to fog. So white, sacrifice a soldier, fog. I can also use it politically. If somebody is about to be attacked for lethal, and I'm not involved, I'm not the attacker or the attackee, I can say, hey man, if I save your life, would you do some favor for me? He'll probably say yes. Legion Warboss. Whenever he attacks, put a +1/+1 counter target attack creature less power. Okay. Beginning of combat on my turn, I get a 1/1 goblin creature token that has haste and attacks this combat if able. Lean and Warleader. So most of the token generators sure off attack. So I did kind of get my attack theme. It just fed into the token theme. Just the way it worked out. So 4 key soldier. Whenever Lean and Warleader attacks, create 2 1/1 kitty cat tokens with lifelink that are tapped and attacking. Noblesse of War. 5 red, 5 white, hybrid, for 3/4 spirit avatar. Attacking creatures you control get +2/+0. Now, it'd be nice if it said until end of turn. Because if you said until end of turn, then on Aurelia's second combat step, they would already have that +2/+0, and they would gain another +2/+0. But no, it's only for that attack that my creatures get the benefit, the bonus. Well. Ogre Battle Driver. Remember when I said I wanted things to give creatures haste? So this bad boy costs 4. He's a 3/3 Ogre Warrior. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under my control, it gets +2/+0 in haste until end of turn. So those goblin tokens, they would be 3/1 hasty goblins. And that's barring any other pump effects I might have. So, yeah, that gets really lethal really quickly. Another token generator, Siege Gang Commander. 5 for a 2/2 goblin. He comes to the battlefield with 3 little buddies. I can sacrifice a goblin, including himself, as I understand it, but I could be wrong. So he deals 2 damage to any target. So 1 colorless, 1 red, sack a goblin, and he deals 2 damage to whatever the hell I feel like. Sun Titan. My stuff's going to die. I know that. Things are going to get killed. I want a way to bring them back. Sun Titan will bring them back. So 4 for a 6/6 Vigilant Giant comes to the battlefield attack. I may, and I probably will, if I have anything. Return target permanent with CMC 3 or less from a graveyard to the battlefield. She's one of the ones I'm not sure if I'm going to like or not. Definitely an experiment. So 3 for a star 4 Vigilant Human Knight. Her power is equal to the number of creatures I control. Whenever I attack for each opponent, and she doesn't have to attack, it's when I attack, not when she attacks. And I'll have to remember that because I'm sure I'll forget. Whenever you attack me, whenever I attack, for each opponent, create a 1/1 white human creature token that's tapped and attacking the player or planeswalker they control. So if I've got the Ogre Battle Driver out, they would be 3/1 attackers. Should be interesting. Brimaz, King of Oreos. So Brimaz, 3 for a 3/4 kitty cat with vigilance. Whenever he attacks, I get a 1/1 kitty cat soldier attacking token with vigilance attacking. If he blocks, same thing. I get another 1/1 white kitty cat soldier token with vigilance. That's blocking the same creature he's blocking. Gisela, Blade of Gun. This is the top of the mana curve. And I'm not sure if I'm going to keep her. I need to see how reliably I can get to 7. So 4 red, white, white for a 5/5, flying for Strike Angel. She doubles all the damage my stuff deals, and she cuts in half all the damage my stuff and I take. So double the damage my stuff and I do, cut in half the damage my stuff and I take. Pretty basic. Heliod, God of the Sun. Token generator. So 4, 5, 6, indestructible. God. Yeah, I need the devotion, but I don't care. My other creatures have vigilance. Angel's Trumpet should be doing that too. But he's in here because I like the having the 3 on-color gods for this deck. So he kind of had to go in. Plus, this 4, put a 2/1 white cleric enchantment creature token on the battlefield. That's pretty cool. If I have Serra's Sanctum out and 4 enchantments, tap it, tap 1 land to make one of these dudes. So I've got 5 enchantments and just keep feeding the Sanctum. Eros got a victory. You already saw him. Crinkle, Mob Boss. Yeah, it kind of looks like a goblin deck, doesn't it? So 4 for a 3/4. Put X, 1/1 red goblin. Double your goblins. Tap him, and for every goblin you have, you get a 1/1 goblin token to go along with it. Make little goblin buddies. Krinko, 10 Street Kingpin. So whenever he attacks, he gets a +1/+1 counter, then create a number of 1/1 red goblin creature tokens equal to his power. I've got ways of buffing his power, for example the Balefire Liege. So the Balefire Liege, if that's in play, and Krinko comes down and attacks, well then I'm making 3 1/1 goblins. More the merrier. Passionate Mons. I like that it's in the retro frame. Neat. So anyway, whenever he or another goblin I control dies, he deals 1 damage to any target. I can spend 3 and a 1 red, sack a goblin, and create 2 goblins. Curious to see how that works. How much mana I have sitting around to do that reliably. Here he is. Perforos, the Red God. So, whenever another creature enters the battlefield under my control, he deals 2 damage to each opponent. And you saw that I have lots of ways of making creatures under my control. And then I can give them +1/+0 until end turn for every 3 I spend. Never used that before. Probably going to use it in this deck, but it'll be the first time. Take another drink of the tea. Alright, I've only got 7 minutes left before I have to restart my camera. Squee, Dubious Monarch. Haste. Whenever he attacks, I get a 1/1 goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking. He's got some bullshit down at the bottom that I don't care about because I don't like exiling cards from my graveyard, so I'm not going to do it. Urbrask the Hidden. My creatures have haste. My opponent's creatures come into play tapped. He's red and fast, and he looks cool. Basri Cat. I forget who suggested Basri to me. I think it was somebody, one of my viewers. Okay, so only 3 for 3 loyalty Planeswalker. Put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature, like Krinko, 10 Street Kingpin. Gains indestructible until end of turn. But neg 2. Neg 2, whenever 1 or more non-token creatures attack this turn, create that many 1/1 white soldier creature tokens that are tapped and attacking. Okay, now, it triggers on whenever it attacks. If I get 2 attacks, so my first main phase, I neg 2 him. Aurelia and a bunch of other things attack. So I create that many 1/1 white soldier creature tokens tapped and attacking. All that stuff untaps, and I attack again. And this triggers again. So, excuse me. if he's in play and I do the -2 and Aurelia's play and I attack, then I get double that activation. I like that. So he was a really good suggestion, whoever suggested it. I wanted Elspeth Tyrell in here. I do not have an extra copy, and she is needed more in Ikra Shadiki Sidarkando. So Aurelia only has Sun's Champion. But put 3 1 and white solar creature tokens on the battlefield. Kind of what I want to do. -3, blow up all creatures with power 4 or greater. Not really what I want to do, but at least I have the option. -7, I get an emblem with creatures you control have +2/+2 in flying. I like that. That's something else I want to do. Make my creatures bigger and smash. Nahiri, the Harbinger. I've had her in a few decks before, and I've taken her out of quite a few decks. Just those decks really never got to her. This one I think will make the best use of her. So I can throw away a card and then draw a card. I can do some looting. I can exile an enchantment, a tapped artifact, or a tapped creature. The negate I don't care about. I'm not going to do that. It doesn't excite me. She's only here for those first 2 abilities. I want to see how they work. Okay, time for a junk planeswalker. Zerial, Archduke of Avernus. She's here because of her +1. So as long as she's in play, I don't need to spend any more mana. Just +1 her. And my creatures get +1/+0 in haste until end of turn. Or I can make red double tokens if I've got something that provides some benefit for doing so. That when this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. I've got ways of multiplying the damage, and I've got ways of multiplying the tokens, so maybe she's going to be better in this deck than I think. Angelic Renewal. I have a Sun Titan. I have a Renewal. If you kill one of my creatures, I will get rid of the Renewal, save it, and then when the Sun Titan attacks or comes into play, the Renewal will come back. Nice little easy combo there. Anointed Procession. Remember Zerial? So if an effect would create 1 or more tokens under my control, it creates twice as many of those instead. Remember Krenko? Remember Brumaz? I expect this to be an all-star in this deck. A bit of control. So Aura of Silence. My opponent's artifacts and enchantments cost 2 additional to play. And I can sack it to disenchant an artifact or enchantment. And since it's 3 or less, Sun Titan can bring it back. I love Sun Titan. Blood Moon. Here's why I have all those basic lands. I don't expect to cast this. I'm not going in with the idea that I will cast Blood Moon and turn all non-basic lands into mountains. I just want the option. My buddies have been playing a lot of non-basic lands lately. All of my other decks have a lot of non-basic lands, and I must admit I wouldn't like to see a Blood Moon played against me in those. But I want the option of having a way of controlling things. So if it's to my benefit to shut down the non-basic lands, including my Serra Sanctum, including my Nykthos, I'll do it. Fiery Emancipation. Key card in the deck. Yeah, it costs 6. It costs 3 red and 3 colors. It costs a lot, but if a source I control would deal damage to something, it deals triple that damage to that something instead. So those little devils that Avernus makes when they die, that's 3 damage. Perforos, he does damage. So every creature coming into play, if he's out, that's 6 damage per creature, not 2. It'll stack up fast. Goblin Bombardment. Sack a creature, Goblin Bombardment does 1 damage to any target. If you have Fire Emancipation in play, Goblin Bombardment does 3 damage to any target. Goblin Trenches. Okay, this is a junk rare. In fact, I was pleasantly surprised at how cheap this was. This is only 150 crowns. I'm going to need to start a part 2. Bear with me.